This week's topic is on nutrition, which is one of my favorite topics, and you'll have a chance in the discussion forum to do a 24-hour dietary assessment. This may take you a little bit of time, so be sure to set aside at least an hour to an hour and a half to complete the exercise. But I think once you've had it done, you will find out some really interesting things about the food that you eat and how well you are doing on all of the essential nutrients in your daily diet. So let's get started. What exactly are the components of a healthy diet? To start off with, there's 6 essential nutrients: proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, and water. The way the FDA assesses food is by looking at its fuel potential. The measure of fuel potential is called kilocalories. So basically, 3 sources of energy, fat, protein, and carbohydrates, all have different levels of energy that they provide. Let's talk about what are some of the main sources of the essential ingredients that we just discussed. First of all, where do we find protein? Protein is often found in meat, fish, poultry, eggs, milk, legumes, which are beans, and nuts. Carbohydrates, our second group, is often found in grains, breads, and cereals, fruits, vegetables, milk, and one area we often overlook is juice, sodas, and sports drinks are incredibly high in carbohydrates. And of course, the typical sweets, candies, cookies, and cakes are also high in carbohydrates. For our category of fats, fish, bacon, animal fats, grains, nuts, seeds, and vegetables are all sources of fats. Not all fats are bad, as you would think, so we'll talk about that more in a little bit. Next, for vitamins, fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains, and some meat and dairy are great sources of vitamins, and minerals can often be found in fish, milk, legumes, cocoa, and various types of foods. Water, of course, is found in regular drinking water, everyday drinks, and fruits and vegetables. So our first category of proteins, what exactly do they do? Proteins form muscle, bone, blood, enzyme, hormones, and cell membranes, so they are critical. Within proteins, 20 common amino acids are involved, 9 essential amino acids and 11 non-essential amino acids. Complete proteins provide all essential amino acids. So, for example, most animal proteins, such as beef, chicken, other types of poultry, and fish, contain complete proteins. Most plant proteins, however, are incomplete proteins. This doesn't mean that we cannot get complete proteins from plants, but in order to do so, we'll need to combine usually 2 or more different types of vegetables to make a complete protein. The recommended amount of protein daily would be 50 grams per day, or about a little less than 1/8 of a pound. Fats and lipids supply energy, they insulate our body, support and cushion our organs, provide a medium for absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. So, for example, omega-3 fatty acids and omega-6 fatty acids are actually good fats. They are beneficial to our cardiovascular health, and they help us to absorb and transport fat-soluble vitamins such as A, D, E, and K. The other area of fat that we want to talk about is the idea of cholesterol. There's 2 different kinds of cholesterol: high-density lipoprotein, HDLs, which is good cholesterol, and low-density lipoprotein, LDLs, which are bad cholesterol. But the recommended amount of fat is 65 grams daily, or about 1/8 of a pound. So, for example, saturated fat is one of the worst types of fats. It often comes from animal fats, butter, cheese, and other high-fat dairy products, and palm and coconut oil. What's bad about this is it raises our total cholesterol, that is the LDL type of cholesterol, and it increases our risk of heart disease because of that. There's also some studies that it shows there is an increased risk of colon and prostate cancers due to high saturated fat intake. The other type of bad fat is called trans fat. Trans fat is often found in French fries and other deep-fried fast foods, stick margarines and shortening, packaged cookies and crackers, and processed snacks and sweets. So again, trans fat is bad for a couple of reasons. it not only raises your total bad LDL cholesterol, but it also lowers your good HDL cholesterol levels. And it may, because of these reasons, increase the risk of heart disease and breast cancer. Now we'll talk a little bit about some of the good types of fat. So most of us have been taught that fat is completely bad, but that's not true. There's actually a lot of fat that we consume that is very good for us. So for example, monounsaturated fat, olive, canola, safflower oil, avocados and olives, peanut butter, and many nuts including almonds, cashews, pecans, and pistachios are all good sources of monounsaturated fat. Monounsaturated fat lowers total cholesterol by reducing bad cholesterol levels, so lowering LDL. It may reduce blood pressure and lower triglyceride levels, and because of these, it reduces the risk of heart disease. Then there's two groups of polyunsaturated fats, known as the omegas, so the omega-3 fatty acids and the omega-6 fatty acids. Omega-3s are found in fatty fish including salmon, white albacore tuna, mackerel, anchovies, and sardines, and in lesser amounts in walnuts, flaxseed, canola, and soybean oils, tofu, walnuts, and dark green leafy vegetables. The good thing about omega-3s is that they reduce blood clotting and inflammation and inhibits abnormal heart rhythms. Overall, it lowers our triglyceride levels and may actually lower blood pressure in some people. Corn, soybean, and cottonseed oils, often used in margarine, mayonnaise, and salad dressing, is where we can find omega-6. These lower our total LDL bad cholesterol and may also lower good HDL cholesterol. It can reduce the risk of heart disease, however, it may slightly increase our risk of cancer, especially if our omega-3 intake is low. Carbohydrates supply energy to the cells of the brain, nervous system, and blood, and they supply energy for muscles during exercise. So carbohydrates are an essential part of our diet. In most cases, we recommend the consumption of complex carbohydrates because they allow our insulin and blood sugar levels to remain more consistent. The recommended amount is 130 grams for essential activities and more for higher exercise and energy use. The FDA overall recommends 200 to 300 grams per day. Vitamins are organic substances required to promote specific chemical reactions within the body's cells. There are 13 types of vitamins, 4 that are fat-soluble, which means we need to have fat in order to absorb them. These include vitamin A, D, E, and K. Vitamins are abundant in fruits, vegetables, and grains. If you are taking vitamin supplements, it's important not to exceed the upper level intake per day, as this may cause other types of health issues. Minerals are also key ingredients in our body's daily functioning. The 17 essential minerals can be found in many different types of foods, and they help to regulate body functions, aid in our growth and maintenance of body tissues, and are a catalyst for energy release. Water makes up about 50 to 60% of our body's weight and provides the medium for chemical reactions, and it transports chemicals and removes waste products, and it also regulates our body temperature. The Food and Nutritional Board recommends that men drink a total of about 13 cups of water a day and women a total of 9 cups. Fiber isn't one of the essential 6, however, it is important for our digestive process. The Food and Nutrition Board suggests that dietary fiber should be consumed in amounts of 38 grams for adult men and 25 grams for adult women. And they also suggest it's best to get this fiber from leafy greens and other types of fruits and vegetables versus dietary supplements. You'll be given an exercise where you'll be able to calculate your customized DRI, that is your customized dietary reference intake. What this is a set of established standards for nutrient intake to prevent nutrient deficiencies, and includes standards for both recommended and maximum intakes. Most daily values are based on a 2,000 calorie diet. If you exercise a lot, your needs may be higher, or if you exercise little, they may be lower. MyPlate is one of the FDA's guidelines on how to eat for health. What they suggest is that half of your plate, whenever you have a meal, should be composed of fruits and vegetables. About 1/4 of your plate should be grains and 1/4 protein. And then along with that, a low-fat or fat-free milk or other type of dairy product. Whenever you look at nutrition suggestions, oftentimes they will suggest serving sizes. The food label has detailed information on serving size and the number of servings in each container. So for example, in this case, the container has 2 cups and the serving size is half of the great thing about the nutrition table is it shows you the total calories, the fat, cholesterol, sodium, carbohydrates, and protein, as well as the various types of vitamins and minerals that are included in this particular food product. There's a rule that we call the 5-20 rule, which means when you look at the percentages, if those percentages are above 20, that means that that item is a good source of that particular nutrient. For example, in this case, dietary fiber is 36%. That means because 36 is above 20, that this product is a good source of dietary fiber. However, when we look at total fat, what we see is 5%, which means that this product is particularly low in fat. We'll be using these nutrition facts for you to do your daily intake assessment. Let's just quickly talk about food safety. So just some general tips. Be sure to wash fruit and vegetables thoroughly before eating or cooking them. Clean your hands with hot water and soap after handling raw meat and before handling raw vegetables. Separate meat from vegetables in your preparation. Cool food to a safe temperature before refrigerating. Refrigerate perishable foods promptly after purchase. And defrost frozen meat before cooking. I know this seems like a lot of work, but it will save you from reheating potentially dangerous bacteria. Do not eat food left out for over 4 hours. Check expiration dates on food labels and don't eat things that have already expired. Also, when you shop for canned food, be sure that it has not been dented and all vacuum sealed food that has lost its seal should be avoided. The reason is because canned food or vacuum sealed food stays preserved because of its vacuum. When the vacuum is released, bacteria that may be in the food has the chance to grow, and this can make you very sick. Recently, it's come to light that there are many environmental factors in our food. So for example, organic foods address the concern that pesticides and other environmental contaminants have been used on various fruits and vegetables. In addition, due to contamination of many of our water sources, fish consumption should be done with caution. So for example, do not eat shark, swordfish, king mackerel, or tilefish. And check advisories about the safety of recreationally caught fish. Other issues that are prevalent today are additives in food, food irradiation, which means the use of microwaving and other types of technologies, and genetically modified foods, where foods have been genetically modified before production. Sometimes, due to various health conditions, we might be asked to maintain guidelines for special diets. Some of the special diets that are out there include high fiber, so in cases where there may be constipation, or low fiber in cases where there may be issues with kidney functioning. These often are based on managing greens and other types of fruit and vegetable consumption. Low-fat diets advise choosing fats wisely, so lowering saturated and trans fats and increasing omega-3 and 6 fatty acids. Low-carb diets, common for individuals who may be trying to lose weight or at risk for diabetes or diabetic, involve choosing carbohydrates wisely, which includes moderating alcohol consumption. Low-sodium diets are often prescribed for individuals with high blood pressure or other types of heart issues. Some suggestions here involve preparing foods on your own with little salt and lowering your fast food intake overall. And of course, for those individuals with immune suppression or allergies, it's very important to follow the food safety guidelines we discussed earlier and to be certain that food is not contaminated with allergens. So here's just a quick review of what we talked about this week. We talked about the 6 essential classes of foods, their sources in the food products, the function in the human body, and the recommended daily intake. Then we talked a little about dietary intake, DRIs, and MyPlate guidelines. Along with that, we discussed serving sizes and food label reading, and then safe food handling practices. We finished off with just some environmental effects on food safety and some of the special diet guidelines that are out there. So I hope you have a great time this week doing your 24-hour diet assessment, and we'll look forward to talking more next week. Have a wonderful day.